I'm here with Sarah Kate Noftsinger, the Commissioner of the Elite Clubs National League, the ECNL, and we are here today just to discuss a little bit about Sarah Kate's history in the game and growing up in the game, to talk a bit about how the game has advanced over the course of the last 10 or so years, and also to talk about developmental opportunities that there are for the ECNLers to compete and to continue their career through the national teams and through college. So I've also received a number of questions from soccer parenting parents that have visited our website and have asked questions, so I'll interject those a little bit throughout this discussion as well. Your impressive playing career was at Wake Forest University, where you were drafted and played in the first rendition of the Professional League for Women, WUSA, the Women's United Soccer Association. Tell us a little bit about growing up in the game and what your history was in terms of your youth soccer experiences.
You know, I was fortunate enough to be a hyperactive child. And I say fortunate because that, you know, my parents signed me up for everything. And I think that's, you know, a typical story for a lot of even professional athletes, where we had so much energy, so our parents signed us up for every sport. I did gymnastics, I did soccer, basketball, field hockey, lacrosse, anything and everything that involved me coming home sweaty and tired, my parents signed me up for. You know, I grew up, you know, I played lots of different sports. I actually focused on gymnastics for a little while and didn't focus on soccer. And then, you know, in summary, you know, by about age 13 is when I really fell in love with the game. And, you know, I played on boys teams and, you know, eventually achieved my goals of playing professionally in the United States. And, you know, that was a dream come true for me. It's something I'd always wanted to do.
Great. We hear, it's interesting that you're saying you played multiple sports growing up. So one of the big things that we are running into these days that I have a concern with for my kids, and I know that, you know, other parents are a little stressed about, is this whole concept of just playing one sport and having to decide. And what are your thoughts on that, especially knowing that you grew up, and that many of our counterparts who played professionally did grow up playing multiple sports? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, it's not a black and white answer, because every kid is different. You know, there does come a point, you know, where, you know, you get a little bit older, you start hitting, you know, 8th and 9th grade, and, you know, you really got to start focusing on, you know, is this, you know, set your goals. And, you know, it's good to sit down with your kid. Kids' goals are going to change, but, you know, some kids say, oh, hey, I want to be a professional player. Or, you know, I want to go to college to play soccer. I want to go to college and play basketball. You know, and help them come up with like a path to try to get there, no matter what level it is they want to go play.
You talked about you played on boys teams growing up. You hear that
Yes.
a lot. In my club team growing up, there were a couple of girls who were from even Norfolk, and they would drive 2 or 3 hours to Northern Virginia, playing on a boys' high school team or practicing with boys' teams and
Right.
coming to play with us. You don't hear that as much in our society today. I would imagine that the game's progressed a little bit so that girls don't have to play with boys to find a competitive environment.
Right. Well, the game has progressed. You know, back in, you know, this makes me sound even older, but in the 80s and the 90s, you know, when I was growing up, there weren't as many opportunities on, you know, for a girls team to play on, and especially a high level girls team. You know, and so for me, I loved the competition. I loved getting beat up. I loved being challenged. And so where I was challenged was playing with the boys. You know, there comes a point when they all grew and got bigger and stronger and faster, and I tried to hang in there as long as I possibly could, because I knew it was making me better to do. In this day and age, you know, more females are playing the game. We've got some great coaches in the women's game too. You know, so there's more opportunities to play at a high level, you know, on the female side. But to go jump in and play, you know, pickup game or go play some futsal with the guys, it's always great. Anybody who's bigger, stronger, and faster than you to play with, it's going to make you better.
Exactly.
You know, the girls' game has advanced and come a long way, and you don't hear that as often now.